David Spada is a successful attorney whose dream was to become a sports talk show host. Elliott Harris is a Chicago sports columnist who wanted to expand his media presence. In the next hour, they combine their talents and love of sports and women by interviewing former professional athletes and lovely ladies on sports and torts. But keeping the boys out of trouble isn't always easy, because when David and Elliott are together, they have more fun than should be legal.
I was all excited today. I thought we were going to see April Rose in studio.
I thought so too. You know, I was all set to go out and buy a dozen roses, scatter the rose petals, whatever it took. And I remember once before she was scheduled to be on, and then she got snowed out. I think today she might have gotten sunned out. I actually think she's probably way too busy. That tends to be the problem in April's world.
I can't keep track of what she's doing with all the gigs she's got and modeling.
Well, I was going to write it down on my hand, but I need a bigger hand. All the shows she's on, all the projects she's involved with, you know. I get tired just reading what she's doing.
She keeps herself busy.
Definitely.
And she started, what is it, a Loop Rock Girl back in the day?
A Loop Rock Girl.
Loop Rock Girl.
No.
Loop
Rock Girl. WLUP.
That's it.
Yeah. She was the 2007 Loop Rock Girl. Following year, she was the Maxim Hometown Hotties winner. She's gone on to fame and fortune and all sorts of wondrous things. She's been on billboards in Chicago for the, remember, internet radio that was going to hit the airwaves?
Yeah, some guy was doing it on the hot dog stand.
Yeah. South, west, east,
North.
That's it. You know, that ill-fated venture, which sounded like a great idea at the time.
That's where I first met her, one of the remotes at Hooters there, and with Robin, and I had the Barely Legal hat, and she put it on, and you put it in the column, but you cut me out.
Well, that's known as good editing, I think. You know, creative cropping, is that a job skill that I can list on my resume?
Did you crop it, or did the Sun-Times crop it?
Well, I would give the photos to the folks, and I think it was a joint decision that said a photo of April Rose by herself rather than a photo of April Rose and David Spada. Nothing personal. I know a lot of people would have bought that paper, but
did you find her yet?
Mostly in your family, I think.
You think we could find April somewhere right now?
I would certainly hope so. I believe she is back in Chicago very briefly before she jets off to wherever it is, New York, Boston. And if we could just talk to her for a few minutes, maybe that would ease some of your disappointment and my disappointment that she's not in studio.
Oh, my goodness. Hi.
April, is that you?
That is me. By the magic of telephone. I'm actually making a phone call. I know everyone's texting now and tweeting and Facebooking.
Well, we were hoping that you would call us maybe.
Right.
and we're glad you did.
Thank you.
What are you doing in Chicago? Taking a breather, feeding the dog?
Yeah, taking a little breather. It's funny and it's so silly and it's such a girly thing to say, but I didn't even paint my nails today. It's a little vacation, a mini vacation. But, there's still a lot of stuff that I'm doing in Chicago.
How often do you have to paint your nails? I thought you paint your nails, it's good for a week or two.
It is when David paints his.
Busy Midwestern girl like me. I'm still mowing the lawn and doing dishes.
Really? You mow lawns?
Yeah. You know what? I did for the first time yesterday.
What do you charge?
It's so hard because my lawnmower is so crappy, and it doesn't propel itself. And my grass was so long in the back, and I don't know what you're supposed to do, and so I'm trying to start it and have a pull start. And I'm not kidding. And when I was halfway done, I stopped the lawnmower and I passed out in the lawn, just like I was making a snow angel, just completely passed out for about 10 minutes. If anyone saw me, they'd think I was crazy. But it's hard to do. I appreciate everyone who mows their own lawn more now.
So wait, you don't live in Trump Tower in a condo there with Derrick Rose in the same building?
I am on the south side of Chicago, and I have a backyard with lots of grass. And snakes. There's snakes back here in Chicago.
Ugh.
Yeah, pretty scary.
So you are in the process of filming Grown Ups 2, or are you finished doing that? That's in Boston, right?
Yeah, that was in Boston. We just wrapped. I was a Russian dance teacher, and it was so much fun. I was kind of surprised because I've never really acted before, and I guess Adam Sandler's assistant knew me from some Maxim stuff I did, and they had asked if I could send in an audition tape. And I'm like, are you sure? I'm not really an LA actor. And they're like, yeah, no, send it in. And they were like, we love you. We can tell you're from the Midwest. Just be yourself. But with a Russian accent. So so it was definitely a lot of fun. Adam Sandler's kids were some of my dance students. And, a lot of the guys have their family as extras and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun to shoot that.
I was in the movie. David Spada? Or is that someone else?
There's a David Spade in the movie.
He's almost as funny as David Spada, but
Right. He's getting there. He's done a lot of work.
How did he end up with who was his girlfriend at one time? Was it
Heather Locklear?
Heather Locklear. I never got that combination.
He is a funny guy, and women are attracted to guys that are charming and funny, and that's just the bottom line. That's why you see that that show King of Queens with Kevin James, and his wife is so attractive. He's a goofball, and we love that, and I feel like that's closer to the truth.
So I saw a photo of you and Jon Lovitz. You guys aren't a couple, are you?
No, but he did just invite me to the Cubs game on Saturday. I guess he's throwing out the first pitch and singing the seventh inning stretch, and so we'll see if I'll enter that ballpark.
Oh,
he probably needs help getting the ball from the pitching mound to home plate. That's probably why he invited you.
I don't know how old he is. He's in good shape. It was fun. In the movie, he's a janitor that's kind of spying on me. So he's up in the rafters, and he does some goofy stuff. And it was just kind of surreal meeting him within the first 5 minutes. He's like, yeah, so I've done a lot of stand-up. And I'm like, I know who you are. Then he pulls up on his iPhone his first stand-up on the Johnny Carson show, which I remember when I was really little. I wasn't supposed to watch it, but I did, and I know who Johnny Carson is, of course. And so it's funny, he made me watch his whole stand-up routine, the first one he ever did on Johnny Carson, and it was interesting. So it was definitely a lot of fun.
Was that supposed to be a turn on, him on Johnny Carson?
I don't know.
Or turn off?
He tried to impress me, but it's like, I'm not that young where I don't know who you are. I feel like everyone kind of knows who he is, so, yeah.
I see my favorite actresses in that movie, too, Maria Bello.
Maria Bella. I'd have to look her up. I'm so bad. I'm so the Midwest girl with names and
She was on ER for a while. She was one of the doctors.
Okay. Well, if she can play a doctor, that's kind of hot.
Okay. I saw a photo of you and Selma Hayek. Is she in the movie?
Yes, she is in the movie, and it was tough. I had some dialogue with her, and she has, her Latin accent, and I'm trying to keep this Russian accent. And when she's talking, I'm trying not to mimic what she says because I have to be Russian when obviously I'm not Russian. But she was really sweet. I thought she was going to look at me and be like, who is this skinny blonde, girl coming in? Who does she think she is? Or I don't know. You never know how women can be. And she was actually really kind and great to work with. It was really fun.
So can you fall into character and give us some of the Russian accent that we can look forward?
I don't know. If Mother Russia would allow me to. I don't know.
Da, хорошо, спасибо.
Just a little, yes.
So when's this movie come out?
I think around the beginning of summer next year.
We have to wait that long?
Yeah.
So do you have
don't hold your breath.
Did you have to get your SAG card?
I had it. I have my AFTRA union card from working for the Loop, being the Loop Rock Girl in Chicago. And then SAG and AFTRA merged about 6 months ago, and so now there's only one union for actors and TV personalities and stuff like that. So I just kind of got grandfathered into it. So I got lucky that way. It's nice because I literally got paid like a week and a half after I shot. I'm like, whoa, that's what happens when you're in the union.
Did the checks bounce like Webbio?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Chicago Sports Webio, old reference.
We were just talking off air about the billboards for all that and how your presence graced the expressways around Chicago.
Yeah, I was part White Sox, part Cubs, kind of facing off against myself, and that definitely was a lot of fun experience with Mike North and all those guys. It's too bad it didn't work out. I think you guys are kind of doing the online sports thing pretty well, and obviously that proves that it was a great venue to approach.
Is it true? I heard that Tim Doyle was more vain than a woman.
It's funny because we played softball for a while against other radio station teams, and he was, brushing his hair back a little bit more than the average guy, and but he's on TV, so he's got to keep that moneymaker intact. So you got to be careful when the softball's coming at you. You don't want to damage anything.
So he wouldn't wear a cap then?
I don't, I think he didn't wear a cap. I think he just, let it flow.
I'll tell you the story I heard about him, that the headboard, above the headboard on his bed, was the bus billboard that Northwestern had when he was playing ball, and he had it above his headboard.
Oh, I could see that.
Is this where I asked David how he found out about that? Nothing firsthand here, was there, David?
No, I asked Tim. I go, Tim, what do you have? He goes, no, this is a picture of the it was on the bus. I guess they called him Mr. Hair at Northwestern, and it was on the buses. So he got one of the posters and put it above his bed so all the women could see who he was.
Right. That's awesome. Self-advertisement. The ladies have to know.
Do you have your Webio thing above your headboard?
I don't. It's funny. I don't have any pictures of. I have some calendars in the garage that my friend hung up from Maxim that I was in, and the Loop Rock Girl calendars. And my basement, there's a little bit just kind of lying around, but yeah, I don't really have too many pictures of me up like that, unless they're kind of just family pictures or something.
You don't have a separate room devoted to all that good stuff?
But just glorifying April Rose. This is the April Rose room. Welcome to it.
So who was funnier, Kevin James or Adam Sandler?
Oh my gosh, Adam Sandler. I didn't get a chance to talk to Kevin James too much, but Adam Sandler was absolutely hysterical. I had a dance recital routine that I had to lead all the little girls in, and the day before we had a rehearsal, and Adam jumped on stage with me, and he goes, April, this is the horny part, and he's swearing up a storm, and he's like, we really got to get into this. You've got to be really sexy. He does my entire dance routine to show me exactly how sexy he thinks that I should do it. And then he's adding kind of crazy, like, leg lifts and just very obnoxious sexual moves and stuff like that. And he's like, just try it, just do it. And it was kind of a surreal moment where you see him on TV or Saturday Night Live, and that's pretty much who he is in real life too. So it was a lot of fun working with him and doing a dance routine with him. It was a lot of fun.
So who's the better dancer, you or him?
He is.
I've seen you bust out some moves.
Yeah.
You can hold your own. You're no slouch.
I could do it. It's funny because they had a dance double because I was doing ballet, and they wanted to be very technical about it. Because I was the ballet instructor, so they had a dance double who's a Broadway dancer. But she was a couple inches shorter than me, and she just had a dancer's body. I'm very thin and not very toned. I'm just very thin, and she had to dance her legs and dance her shoulders and everything. And they, she went up for one stand-in, and they were like, we can't use her because April, they don't look like that much. So,
So how did Selma Hayek let you be in the movie? Because you're a lot better looking than she is. So take the spotlight off her.
Gorgeous. It's funny because, again, I'm tall, and a lot of actors are really short, and they made me wear flat shoes all the time because you don't want to, make anybody dwarf anyone or make them look too tiny next to you unless it's part of the joke or something. But I'm always told, I'm 5'9", I'm always told, take your shoes off. And Selma, had huge crazy heels on, and I'm still taller than her, flat foot. She's a real shorty. But I will tell you, she has the most amazing body ever given to a human being. Her waist is tinier than mine, and then her chest is just, I can't explain it without getting too graphic. And
go right ahead.
And butt just pops out perfectly, and it's just like this perfect hourglass figure, and you're just born with that. That's just, that Latin skin and that Latin build in her, and she's just absolutely stunning, like perfect body. And I'm not a lesbian, but if I was, I may ask her out. No, but
didn't she have a kid recently or something?
There was a kid she did have a child on set who was maybe about 4. I don't know if she has anymore, but yeah.
So did you have a love interest in the movie, like Chris Rock or
my boyfriend is Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was a pro wrestler. And, so he was, he's pretty older than I am, and so it was kind of interesting, and I could tell that he was nervous, and, I'm like, why are you nervous? And, he just said that he loves doing his wrestling stuff and doing live stuff, and acting kind of made him a little nervous sometimes, but it was definitely fun to work with him.
Did he show you some of his moves and you showed him some of yours, or how?
I'm so oblivious to the world of wrestling, and it was funny because everyone was so excited. I mean, I know who he is. Everyone was so excited to see him, and the directors wanted to take a picture with him, and he's kind of a big deal.
Is there any kissing or love scenes in the movie?
We had a little kiss, nothing crazy, but it's funny because I was wearing red lipstick. I look over after, and it's Steve Austin, and now he has red lipstick on, and I was just dying, hysterically laughing to see this big, scary, shaved head, goatee, muscle man with red lipstick on. It was amazing.
What did Jon Lovitz say about that?
He wasn't there. He wasn't there during that one. But
he was
Jon was definitely fun and made me feel very welcome. And it's a very new world to me to do movie stuff like that. So it's kind of nervous, but again, I loved it. The week before that, I just came off of a live broadcast for the Ski Channel talking about cars, which I know about cars, but not like I should. And I'm not a motorhead. I'm not dissecting engines and stuff like that. And that stuff I can get a little nervous about. So it's nice being on this movie set because you can mess up 50 times and it doesn't matter. You're still okay.
Jon Lovitz probably was asking himself, why don't I have the Steve Austin role?
Right?
I was watching TV last month at like 2 a.m, and I think some high NBC channel, I see you having dinner with a couple of guys.
That would probably be 3 guys in a booth with James Ryan and Jerry Asuma.
That's it.
That was taped last year at the Ritz-Carlton, the restaurant. I forget what restaurant it was, but yeah, another show's doing well on NBC or one of those knockoff NBC channels. I don't know which one it's on, but
NBC Nonstop or something like that.
Yeah, there you go.
So how do I get a show like that with an April Rose and an Elliott, where you and I and Elliott have dinner and talk to beautiful people?
Perfect.
You got the connections here because I see Tom Dorse congratulating you on your new Comcast Bears job.
That's an old job, but yeah, that's starting up soon with Dan Gigas on Comcast Sportsnet. I think we're having Matt Forte as one of our regular hosts.
So that's Chicago Huddle on Comcast Sportsnet Chicago?
Right.
The pregame show, the tapes. Now, last year you guys went out to a restaurant in Libertyville. Any idea where you'll be this year?
They were talking about Chili's. They were talking about maybe going back there. So I don't know what the latest is. I don't necessarily go to that location. I do a lot of stuff at the players' houses or at a bar or an event or tailgating. But I will be posting it on my Facebook as soon as I find out and tweeting it.
Okay. And for people who want to know what your Twitter handle is, it is?
Yeah, it is at Tweet April Rose. And the word tweet is part of my Twitter handle because April Rose was taken. I just added tweet.
Really? Who would take April Rose? That's just not right.
It's Rose is my middle name. And I hear, a lot of people use it as their last name, but I kind of think it sounds better. My last name's Haydock, but April Rose kind of sounds better.
Well, you should have been a physician. So then they could have just said, hey, Doc.
Right? Oh, my gosh. Now you're bringing back flashbacks of junior high.
Oh. That's about the level of my humor or my alleged humor.
Right?
So,
yeah, April Haydock, what's up?
so what projects are you currently doing right now besides the huddle?
I'm working on an app, a sexual assault type of an app. It's called Lifeline Response. That should be launched in about a week. And I'll be posting more about that on my Facebook, but it's kind of more about prevention. If you're walking to your car, you kind of hold your finger down on the phone, and if your finger's released, then it sends a signal to either people that you program it to contact to tell you your location, or it could send a signal to the police to find where your location is. And also working on a website called shopforyourgirl.com, which is pretty cool because it allows guys to plug in their girlfriend, mom, whatever information, online, and then it'll send reminders. Hey, your girl's birthday's coming up, and it'll have gift suggestions. So I think that's a good idea. At being a woman and having bad experiences with all the men in my life, forgetting those special anniversary dates and just not getting the right thing, and you know what I mean. Us girls, we're really sensitive about that stuff, and we're always going to be. There's nothing you can do about it.
There's no therapy, electric cattle prod, nothing that's going to cure that, is there? Yeah, but so it's a cool website because your girl can fill out the information for you if you want her to, and then just type in your email address, and then you'll get updates when special events are coming up that you need to remember, like Valentine's Day. It shouldn't be hard to remember, but it is for some reason. Well, and then the guys have to keep all their girlfriends straight, right?
There you go. Girlfriends, wives, whatever.
A little of each, I don't know.
Okay.
But
So,
your mom, your sisters, it's for all the women in your life.
okay.
Good idea.
If I'm Jon Lovitz and I want to woo April Rose, how do I do this?
Oh my gosh, funny guys. I think for any woman, we love to laugh and have a sense of humor, and I think that just opens women up to be comfortable. And I think if you can be funny and charming, that is the number one quality that women kind of attach themselves to.
So Pee Wee Herman would basically entice you?
You totally called me out on that because that is not true.
Okay, so what's the perfect...
But when I think of Jon Lovitz, I think of the characters he played on Saturday Night Live.
Right.
And I'm going, if I was a woman, I don't think that would be very appealing, even if it's amusing. There's a certain creepiness.
Well, it's funny. When it's in the first 5 minutes of talking to John, he goes to me, April, today is opposite day. So whatever you do, don't rape me. And I was just like, that is classic creepy, but it's so funny coming from him, and it's so okay that he just said that, even though it's over the top.
Now, you're still involved with Maxim.
Right.
You were the 2008 Hometown Hottie winner, and you've maintained a healthy relationship with them.
Yeah, they put me on their Hot 100 list this year. I'm number 82.
Yeah, I thought you were underrated.
No,
Who do I complain to?
Who was number one?
Right. Bar Raffaelli was number one. And,
You know who that is, David?
I have no clue.
You don't have any idea?
Look her up. Google
Swimsuit
her.
model, used to date Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay, where is Kate Upton on that list?
She is. I think she's in the 30s, but she is one of my favorites. Did you see her Esquire cover that she shot with that popsicle? Oh my goodness! Absolutely, just perfection. American perfection.
I saw her in the Three Stooges movie, and she was good in that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
As a nun?
She played a nun in a bikini at the end.
That's one way to get kids to go to parochial school, isn't it?
I would sign up for that.
So I want to know, where do I get that poster with all the former Loop rock girls I saw on the website?
That is a cool poster. I just saw that. I can't believe how many of us there are now, and I'm glad it's still going with radio kind of, Q101 went off the air, alternative rock, stuff like that, and they were having a little ratings issues and stuff like that. So I'm glad that the Loop is still going strong and they're still having another Loop girl. It makes me really happy. I'm definitely going to try and get out to their finals competition. I don't know when it is yet, but yeah, I want to poster that too. I think that's a neat poster.
5 years ago, you were the Loop rock girl.
I was.
Where'd that time go?
Exactly. What happened? What's interesting is a lot of girls ask me how to get started, and that's pretty much where I got started. But 2 years before I was a Loop Rock girl, I tried out when the first girl won. I think it was in 2005, and I didn't win. And a lot of people would have walked away from that, and you're not used to rejection, and it's tough, and you just have to keep on trying and keep on doing it. Because then I'm glad I obviously did it 2 years later, even though I kind of got kicked in the butt the first year I tried out for it and didn't make it. So I'm glad that I did it, and that's kind of what brought me out of my shell, was working, with the Loop and doing that stuff.
But it's sort of like being a Playboy playmate. Some of those women go on to long careers, bigger and better things, and others just, you don't really hear too much about it. I think it varies from individual to individual.
Right.
Like Jenny McCarthy.
I love Jenny McCarthy.
Have you ever met her?
No, I haven't. Is she officially moved back to Chicago, or what's the deal with that?
According to her Twitter handle, she's back here. Her son's happy.
In school.
And she's
cool.
a South Side girl, so.
Yeah, I think she lives I was hearing in Beverly, which I'm in Mount Greenwood, which is the next neighborhood over.
Okay, Elliott's got an idea. He's going to have a party. South
There
Side
you
party.
go.
I'll wait by the phone for the call, the invitation.
Right. That was funny because I do stuff with MTV, and they were telling me when I first started, they were like, "You remind us of Jenny McCarthy," and I'm like, "That's interesting because she's from the same neighborhood that I live in, and these girls kind of have an extra fun attitude that carries along from the neighborhood that you're from." So I totally get that.
And Bonnie Hunt's got a different attitude because she's from the North Side, right?
There you go. Well, I am from the North Side. I'm not going to deny that. I'm from the North Suburbs, which is even worse.
So you go both ways.
So I have the snotty attitude of that, plus the South Side. I'm mowing my lawn, getting my fingernails dirty.
Why are you mowing your lawn? Why don't you just put it on Twitter? I need someone to mow my lawn.
Right? I need a new lawnmower. I didn't know that it didn't self-propel. This is very hard for me.
You said Jon Lovitz is going to be in town. I bet you if you asked him, he'd be delighted to mow your lawn.
How funny would that be to see him mowing a lawn?
Or if you want a Hispanic guy, get David Hernandez.
There you go. What's up with him? Is he in jail? Do we even know what happened to the former owner of Chicago Sports Radio?
No, did he discover you or Mike North discovered you?
Mike North definitely had me on Monsters in the Morning when he had that show on Comcast Sportsnet.
You were already discovered by that point.
No. Mike North is going to take credit when that movie comes out next year that he discovered you.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about it.
I believe that.
Okay. I have one final question.
Yeah.
When do we get you to go back to being a brunette?
Gosh, I don't know. Everyone has a very strong opinion on what they like me best as, and it's I get all mixed reviews all the time. They want me to go back to being red, and then when I'm brunette, they want me to go back to being blonde, and then I'm blonde, and they want brunette. Okay,
how about tricolored?
Tricolored, yeah.
That'll please everybody.
Happy. Right, there you go. I just switch it up. It's fun. We're girls. We like to have what we don't have. So, we'll see what happens. You never know what I'll be tomorrow. Maybe I'll shave it. For everyone.
One last question. What was the worst gig you ever had?
Other than this? Other than appearing on Sports and Torts?
Oh, my gosh. The worst gig I ever had. That's tough. I think it's been tough. You know what? It wasn't the worst because it was the best, too, but it was tough. I was in Sturgis, and I did a photo shoot out there by Devil's Tower, which is kind of a national monument. I was on a horse. That was awesome, but we had to sign posters out in that environment, and I was a teenager, and it was so shocking to see that environment with all those rough guys and being really crude. It was just like, is this what real life is like? And that was kind of a eye-opening experience for me, and that was one of my first modeling gigs. And I wouldn't necessarily say it was the worst, but it was definitely the most shocking.
Okay. Well, you lived through it. That's the good thing.
Yes.
Thank you again. We're going to have our people call your people, and we'll put a show together on TV.
That sounds perfect.
That was the beautiful April Rose Haydock.
Well, just April Rose.
Sounds great. You're listening to Sports and Torts, and when we come back,
Are we on TalkZone.com?
we're on TalkZone.com, and when we come back, we'll have on NFL Hall of Famer Jack Butler. Stay tuned.